My name is Austin Hirschberger, and this is my video for Module 5, Understanding My Community, USD 458, Baser Linwood. Standards and reflection. For the sake of time, I'm not going to read them, but I chose ISD 1C, and the NELP standard I chose was NS number 5-5.3B, and then you can see my paraphrase and reflections on there as well. Take sociological inventory. We are located in Baser, Kansas, which is a desirable area. It's only about 20 minutes from Kansas City, Lawrence, and Overland Park. So although it's a small community, you have a lot of entertainment, restaurants, and shopping options nearby. We've got a good mix of people located in town and in the country. Some of our students come from farming backgrounds, while many of them are located inside the city limits. Parents and folks in town, a lot of them work for a construction company that's located nearby. Like I said, many of them are farmers, and then a lot of them also commute because Kansas City is so close to Kansas City companies such as Cerner. We also have a lot of financially stable and established families here in town. Many of them have been here for years and have have roots tied to Baser. As far as our district, we combined with Linwood School District about 25 years ago. Right now we only have one elementary school over in Linwood, which is actually one of the schools that I'm shared at. And there's still a little bit of a lingering tension between the two communities, which I'll touch on later on. No customs and traditions. Baser was founded in 1889. I found this one was interesting. The first schoolhouse was built in 1906 and was called Prairie Garden number 32. It was a K-12 building with the high school being upstairs and the K-8 being downstairs. Had 5 graduates in 1929. The first library was a cement building next to the schoolhouse, and just a few years ago it was moved to City Park, where it still stands. We're in Leavenworth County, fastest growing community in the county. Falcon Lakes Golf Course is nearby, with a lot of housing built around it. Some of the things to do that are really close by also are at the Agriculture Hall of Fame. The Renaissance Festival is about 5 minutes away over in Bonner Springs. And then Kansas Speedway and Legend Shopping District are also nearby, just down I-70. School spirit is big in our district at all levels. Elementary students will wear their elementary school colors on Fridays, and then everybody gets behind the high school mascot, that are the Bobcats, and really show up to support the high school football team and basketball teams, and the community really gets behind the high school athletics as well. No population characteristics. Estimated population for last year was 6,194. In 2010, it was about 4,600. So as you can see, we've grown by about 1,500 people. From 2000 to 2010, they grew by 106%. In 2000, it was a little over 2,000 people here in Baser. Median age is 37 years, about half and half as far as female and males. Educational level, 25% have a high school diploma. 24% with their bachelor's, and 19% with a graduate or higher. Majority of Baser is Caucasian, 96% white, 2% Asian, 1% African American, and 1% Hispanic. Communication channels. Twitter has been huge in our district. Our superintendent uses it as maybe not his primary mode of communication, but if you are on Twitter, you're usually one of the first people to know about snow days, and he communicates via Twitter for a lot of the things that are going on in the district. Skylar is kind of the way that our district communicates to huge population all at one time. Skylar is a system where the principals can leave a message about upcoming events, snow days, or whatever's going on inside their building, and it's an automated message that'll just show up on your voicemail. Kansas City Star is the biggest newspaper in the area. We don't have our own community newspaper, so Leavenworth Times is the official newspaper of Baser, as well as the Leavenworth area. And then the big news TV stations in the area are KCTV5, KMBC, and Fox 4. Community groups, we have Pride Committee, which is an extension of Kansas Pride for the Baser area. They run a community garden. We have 4-H clubs, community library, senior living help, which includes Meals on Wheels. And then a lot of our students are involved in youth groups and church groups on Wednesday nights. School groups, we have school board. PTO is huge, especially at Glenwood Ridge, which is one of the schools I'm at. A lot of the parents are involved with PTO. Stuco, students can start Stuco when they're in 3rd grade. Mentors and care cats. Mentors are parents who will sign up to mentor students who need the extra adult support, and then care cats are upperclassmen who come over from the high school and are teacher aides at the elementary school and work in the classroom. Booster club, and then parents as teachers. No leadership. David Howard, he's our superintendent. He's been in this position for 10 years. He's a Fort Hays State alum. District staff include Dr. Ben Pretz, Ashley Razik, Sherry Reeves. Our Board of Education, the president is Dana Miller, Vice President Shelley Stevens, along with other board members. Principals at Glenwood Ridge, my principal is Deb Ricker. This is her 1st year. And then at Linwood Elementary, it's Cindy Hebert, who is in her 15th year. And then our city council, our mayor is David Breyer. His term ends this year. He's been in office for 4 years now. And Richard Drennan is the council president. Community leader characteristics. David Howard, he's definitely a people-first person. He's very friendly. You can't help but go somewhere in the district without running into him and sparking a conversation with him. He's usually one of the first people you meet when you're hired. He definitely embraces challenges with our growing student population. He had to kind of take that head on and really did a great job with pushing forward his 2018 bond, which passed, and I'll touch on that more here in a second. He also leaves his footprint in all areas of the community, including the library, with the board, and with the city council. He's really involved in a lot of different areas. Board members are public figures that are well known around town. Many of them have children who have either gone to our schools or go to our schools. And then with my principal specifically, Ricker, this is her 1st year, and one of the things I've noticed with this being her first principal position, she doesn't really want to step on people's toes. Our previous principal was here for about 20 years, and things have always been a certain way, and I think she kind of wants to keep it the way that it's always been. And then with my principal over at Linwood, her name Cindy Hebert. Like I said, this is her 15th year. She sets the bar high for staff members and holds them accountable to those standards. No economic conditions. The median household income in Basehor is $77,000. Average independent income is $46,000. Poverty rate is a little less than 5%. Employment rate is about 68%. Almost 80% of our community owns houses as opposed to rents. We have 1,900 housing units. The average family size is 3.3, and land size Basehor is about almost 7 square miles. It's really spread out. Our tax rate is 8.5, and then in our school district, free and reduced lunch is 15%. No political structure. Funding for buildings, like I said, the bond issue that that David Howard presented last year passed. It's going to build two additional elementary schools. One is going to replace the building that's in Linwood. It's nearly 100 years old. It's going to move closer to Basehor, so people in the Linwood community will have to commute a little bit further to get their students to school. And then also an early childhood center and improvements to the current facilities. It passed voting without a whole lot of pushback. Mr. Howard did a really good job of communicating all aspects of the bond to both the Basehor community and the Linwood community. And a lot of people are really excited about the new elementary schools being built. They're going to be utilized in the next year to 2 years. With the bond being paid for, the assessed valuation of the district, with it growing, should cover the cost of the bond without raising the mill levy. Board members and school administration work together and are on the same page. And then Basehor is a traditionally conservative community. Some of the social tensions, like I mentioned before, there's slight tension between people from Basehor and people from Linwood. Although it's been a quarter of a century since they combined school districts, there's a little bit of a stereotype towards the Linwood crowd. Linwood is a town with a population of less than 500. It's a Title I school with 15% being below the poverty line. Typical small town. Also, there's cliques between families that have been here for a long time and have roots tied here and are established in the Basehor area. And then in the district specifically, the teacher turnover is really low. We have like 500 or 600 staff members, and a couple years ago we only lost 3 teachers out of those 600. Most teachers have either recently been hired by the district or have been here for 10 to 20 years. And then there's a few, like I said, being a small town, you get a little bit of the cliques between veteran staff members who have been here for those 10 to 20 years. Extra sources of information. Our district website, it's very user-friendly. There's a lot of information on there for parents, students, and staff. The City of Basehor website, one thing I noticed about it is it really promotes the community and all that it has to offer. And if you're not sure how to get involved in the community, that's a great great place to start, and you'll find out a lot about different things going on in the community. Superintendent, like I said, he's big on Twitter. PTOs, school Facebook groups are huge and get the message out to parents really quickly. And then board members meeting are held once a month, and they encourage public and staff participation. Power structure, we kind of have a pyramid approach. It starts with the Board of Education and the superintendent and all the way down to classified staff members. Everyone has somebody to report to in the district, and everybody knows that their voice is heard and valued. Teachers never have to be afraid to speak up, and everybody's really on the same page is one thing that I've noticed while working here. No multicultural issues, not a very diverse community as far as race and language. A lot of people, like I said, are Caucasian, English speaking. Most people can find some common ground. As I've mentioned throughout this, there's a lot of family roots here in Basehor for people that have been here for quite some time. And then we have 5 churches in the Basehor community: a Catholic church, Jehovah's Witness, Lutheran church, and 2 Baptist churches. No power structure. As far as the district, our superintendent has been here long enough that he has a really good grasp on what we needed to do in order to progress as a district. And then our director of teaching and learning is present in schools on a consistent basis. You can't help but run into Ben Pretz. He oversees the standards are being met, and then when he was hired on a couple years ago, he really took on doing common assessments and priority standards throughout the district for all grade levels and subject areas to be on the same page regardless of the school that you work for. Here at Glenwood Ridge, with it being Mrs. Ricker's first year, she seeks, a lot of our teachers have been here for, like I said, 10 to 20 years. She seeks their opinions on most decisions because she wants to do things the way that they've been done. Over at Linwood, the principal, she really has a final say on almost all decisions. She asks for opinions, but really her way is usually the way that things end up going. Measuring public opinion, like I mentioned, we use the Skylert system to communicate to the district as a whole about things going on. Each of our schools sends home a weekly newsletter on Fridays. Parent-teacher conferences, we have really good turnout of parents. Usually almost all parents show up to parent-teacher conferences and know what's going on inside the classroom. Staff complete anonymous questionnaire and offer suggestions each year at the end of the school year. And then in public opinion surveys, as I mentioned, the common assessment and priority standards, across grade levels and subjects throughout the district. We want all PE staff members to be on the same page and share the same assessments to know how our students are progressing. That's just my area specifically, but then in all grade level areas as well. A few years ago, all staff members were asked to complete a questionnaire at a staff training and rate the district on some of those KESA categories: relationships, relevance, responsive culture, and rigor. Our district identified responsive culture and relationships are the areas that we need to be focusing on, and each school wrote SMART goals that align with the district's goals as far as responsive culture and relationships. And then each year we also send home a parent survey to be filled out by parents so that they can allow suggestions and opinions for what the district has done well and what they need to improve on. All right, thanks.